All right, Bills Nation, let's dive deep into everything happening with the Buffalo Bills as we move closer to the heart of the season. One of the most pressing topics on everyone's mind has been the team's salary cap situation, and it's worth unpacking how the Bills have navigated these financial waters to maximize their competitiveness. While some fans see the low cap space as a red flag, it's really a reflection of strategic choices that prioritize building a championship-caliber roster right now. The general manager has made a deliberate decision to push the limits of the salary cap, not by recklessness, but by leveraging restructuring techniques and creative contract management. This is why we see players like Larry Joby getting paid, both this year and the next, regardless of roster status. These moves are all about maintaining a win-now mentality, making sure that the talent on the field is optimized for immediate results, rather than hoarding cap space for hypothetical future needs. Looking at the roster from a broader perspective, the Bills have been very intentional about prioritizing their drafted players. Extensions and multi-year deals have been a key part of solidifying a core group that can sustain success over the next several seasons. While free agency remains an avenue to improve, the philosophy is clear. Homegrown talent gets the first shot. This approach also creates flexibility. By restructuring contracts and timing extensions wisely, the Bills have the ability to generate necessary cap space while retaining their top contributors. As revenue grows across the league and the salary cap rises in tandem, this strategy becomes even more effective, allowing the team to balance player retention with financial prudence. Of course, injuries always introduce unpredictability, and this year has been no exception. With preseason setbacks for key players like Cedric Van Frank Granger and Alec Anderson, the team's depth chart and succession plans are being tested. When players miss significant portions of camp, it becomes harder to gauge readiness and project who will step into larger roles if needed. For instance, evaluating internal candidates for the center position or other key spots becomes a more complex puzzle when those individuals have limited practice time. However, the approach remains measured. The front office must weigh both the player's development and their market value, and often it comes down to alignment between a player's personal priorities and the team's strategic goals. Connor McGovern's situation perfectly illustrates this balancing act, as negotiations hinge on both the player's willingness to stay in Buffalo under certain terms and the team's evaluation of how much they are willing to invest to secure his services. Transitioning from finances and personnel management to the on-field product, the Bills' offensive strategy continues to be versatile and dynamic. The running game, in particular, is a fascinating area to explore. James Cook and Ray Davis offer contrasting styles, zone versus gap running, and the team has demonstrated a willingness to employ both approaches based on situational matchups. Defensive alignments and opponent strengths often dictate which scheme takes precedence, and the offensive line's versatility enables the coaching staff to execute a wide range of concepts effectively. While James Cook has shown exceptional ability in zone schemes, his skill set is flexible enough to contribute meaningfully in gap runs, and as he gains experience within the system, his effectiveness in multiple styles is only expected to grow. This adaptability is emblematic of the broader Bills offense, which seeks to create mismatches, exploit weaknesses, and maintain unpredictability for opposing defenses. Quarterback depth is another critical factor in building a resilient team. The philosophy around backup quarterbacks has evolved beyond simply finding someone who can manage the game in a pinch. Instead, the ideal backup brings physical upside, mobility, and playmaking ability, ensuring that even if they are untested in timing and progression, they can still create explosive plays and extend drives. Players like Tyson Bent or Malik Willis exemplify this approach, offering both arm talent and athleticism to make high-impact contributions when called upon. This mindset recognizes the reality that backups rarely receive the same reps as starters, so maximizing their natural abilities is essential to maintaining offensive momentum in unexpected situations. Defensively, safety play and secondary depth remain hot topics. Michael Hoy and other young contributors are under the microscope, as the team evaluates both immediate impact and long-term potential. Maintaining a balance between seasoned veterans and emerging talent is crucial for sustaining defensive stability. In preseason performance, camp health, and practice reps all factor into these assessments. The front office and coaching staff must navigate these variables while keeping an eye on the broader goal, fielding a team capable of competing at the highest level week in and week out. Wide receiver depth and explosiveness also command attention. Adding the right vertical threats can completely change a passing game, stretching defenses and opening up space for both the running game and underneath passing concepts. Historical talents like Lee Evans serve as a benchmark for the type of game-changing receiver the Bills could look to emulate, someone who can challenge defenses deep, create mismatches, and fundamentally alter defensive game planning. Developing current players like Josh Palmer while exploring creative roster moves ensures that the team maintains a dynamic and multi-dimensional passing attack capable of keeping defenses off balance. The Bills' coaching philosophy continues to emphasize flexibility, preparation, and adaptability. Offensive coordinator Aaron Kromer has demonstrated proficiency across both zone and gap run schemes, tailoring game plans to both personnel strengths and opponent weaknesses. This adaptability ensures that the team can exploit matchups effectively, whether facing a fast, athletic defensive front that favors downhill gap runs or a larger, less mobile defensive line that can be stretched with zone concepts. The ability to mix schemes keeps defenses guessing, and the personnel's versatility allows the coaching staff to implement multiple strategies without being constrained by rigid system requirements. In terms of player development and internal depth, the organization has shown a commitment to nurturing talent in-house. Internal succession plans for key positions, such as center and other offensive line spots, reflect a forward-looking approach that balances immediate needs with long-term roster sustainability. Players are evaluated not just on current performance, but on their trajectory, fit within the scheme, and potential to grow into larger roles. While injuries and missed camp time introduce uncertainty, these internal evaluations remain critical to ensuring the team is prepared for any scenario that unfolds during the season. All right, Bills Nation, let's keep diving into the deep layers of what makes this team tick as we approach the season proper. One area that continues to generate conversation is how the Bills balance their offensive identity with the personnel they have on hand. James Cook and Ray Davis exemplify the duality of running styles, one a zone runner, the other a gap specialist, and the coaching staff has shown remarkable flexibility in leveraging each skill set. This is more than just play design. It's about maximizing efficiency, exploiting opponent tendencies, and keeping defenses off balance. The offensive line's athleticism and versatility further enhance this capability, allowing schemes to shift fluidly based on matchups and in-game adjustments. Players like Osiris Torrance, while naturally fitting a gap-oriented style, are complemented by teammates who can thrive in either system, creating a unit that can handle a spectrum of defensive fronts. This versatility is vital when facing the unpredictable nature of NFL defenses, where front alignments, personnel rotations, and defensive schemes can change drastically week to week. Quarterback depth remains a topic of intense scrutiny, not simply for insurance purposes, but for the ability to maintain offensive explosiveness regardless of circumstance. The ideal backup quarterback is no longer merely someone who can manage the game. They need to bring physicality, arm strength, and improvisational skill. Players like Tyson Bent and Malik Willis embody this philosophy. Their ability to create plays outside the structure, extend drives, and threaten defenses both vertically and horizontally is invaluable, particularly when reps are limited. This approach ensures that even when the starting quarterback is sidelined, the offense retains its identity, keeps defenses honest, and continues to generate big plays. It reflects a broader principle that the Bills prioritize adaptability and high-ceiling talent in key positions rather than settling for predictable, low-risk options. Wide receiver strategy and explosive potential continue to be focal points for the team. Adding or developing a receiver who can stretch the field vertically has a ripple effect throughout the offense, opening lanes for both the running game and underneath passing concepts. Historical examples like Lee Evans remind fans and analysts alike of the impact a true deep threat can have. Lee Evans was the type of player who could alter defensive game plans simply by lining up, forcing coverage adjustments that created opportunities elsewhere on the field. Developing talent like Josh Palmer, while keeping an eye on creating complementary pieces, ensures that the Bills maintain a dynamic aerial attack that can stress defenses in multiple ways. This is not just about catching passes. It's about creating space, generating mismatches, and maintaining a vertical threat that commands attention from defensive coordinators. On the defensive side, attention to detail in the secondary, particularly at safety, is crucial. Michael Hoy has been at the center of discussions due to both performance and strategic importance. The blend of veteran presence and emerging talent ensures that the Bills can maintain continuity while also integrating fresh perspectives and skills. Evaluating these players in camp, especially given injuries to potential successors, has proven challenging but remains essential. Depth charts are fluid, and understanding where each player's growth trajectory intersects with team needs is a dynamic and ongoing process. Success depends not only on individual skill, but on chemistry, communication, and a shared understanding of defensive responsibilities that can adjust to fast-moving offenses. The interplay between financial management and on-field strategy is equally fascinating. By utilizing restructures and creative contract management, the Bills maintain flexibility while retaining core talent. This win-now approach signals a willingness to prioritize performance over holding large cap reserves. Each roster move, extension, or restructuring is a calculated effort to ensure the best possible team is on the field, reflecting a philosophy that prioritizes maximizing present value without jeopardizing future competitiveness. This method extends beyond just high-profile stars. It affects depth, succession planning, and even practice squad utilization, ensuring that every decision contributes to both immediate goals and longer-term sustainability. Injuries, as always, introduce unpredictability, and the Bills have had their share of challenges during camp. Preseason injuries to key linemen or skill players, such as Cedric Van Frank Granger and Alec Anderson, complicate succession planning and force the staff to reassess depth options in real time. Yet, even with these setbacks, the organization remains proactive, evaluating internal candidates while also weighing potential market options to maintain competitive advantage. Connor McGovern's extension situation exemplifies this complexity, where alignment of player priorities and team valuation must converge. The decision-making process isn't purely financial. It incorporates chemistry, player buy-in, and long-term team vision, illustrating the multifaceted nature of roster management in a high-stakes, cap-driven league. Looking at the offensive line, versatility is the cornerstone of their success. Linemen capable of performing effectively in both zone and gap schemes offer a significant advantage, allowing the offensive coordinator to adjust strategies based on opponent tendencies. The team's ability to move seamlessly between schemes means that defensive fronts cannot predict play calling, creating uncertainty that benefits the offense. Each lineman's athletic profile, combined with football intelligence, allows them to adapt to varying assignments, whether it's pulling on a gap run or maintaining spacing on a zone stretch. This flexibility underpins the team's offensive identity and is integral to sustaining a balanced attack that can exploit a range of defensive alignments. Culture and internal cohesion are equally vital. Locker room dynamics, communication, and mutual accountability shape how the team performs under pressure. Players who understand their roles, embrace collective goals, and align with the coaching vision are more likely to execute effectively on game day. This cohesion extends beyond strategy and tactics. It manifests in preparation, practice intensity, and in-game adaptability. The Bills focus on developing a culture of excellence, where individual performance aligns with team success, contributes to resilience in both high-pressure situations and long stretches of the season, where injuries and fatigue inevitably factor in. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. Whispers around the NFL have been growing louder in recent days, and the latest buzz centers on TREVON DIGGS, who, according to insiders, might just be the latest superstar to take the Buffalo Bills to unprecedented heights. Sources close to the team have hinted that DIGGS' presence on the field has brought an electrifying energy that no one expected this season. The rumor mill suggests that his agility, awareness, and ability to read the quarterback's intentions are not merely impressive, but game-changing, transforming the Bills' defensive strategies into something almost mythical. Fans and commentators alike have been caught in a frenzy, speculating that DIGGS might redefine what it means to be a cornerback in today's NFL. Even casual observers at recent games have reportedly noticed how his mere presence seems to alter the opposing team's approach, forcing quarterbacks to rethink their routes and sometimes even abandon their preferred targets entirely. Off the field, murmurs suggest that his work ethic and practice is equally relentless, pushing teammates to elevate their performances as well. There are talks in locker rooms that coaches are quietly reshaping their playbooks to maximize DIGGS' unique abilities, making him not just a player, but a potential cornerstone of the team's future plans. Social media has exploded with clips of DIGGS making game-saving interceptions and critical tackles, fueling an almost mythical narrative. Analysts who usually stay neutral are increasingly hinting that the Bills' defensive dominance could now be inseparable from DIGGS' impact, sparking debates on whether he could earn accolades beyond the Pro Bowl. Even rival teams have reportedly taken notice, adjusting their offensive schemes in anticipation of facing him, which only adds to the growing legend surrounding his abilities. Every game seems to reinforce the notion that DIGGS is not merely a strong player, but a transformational force, the kind that inspires speculation about a career destined for the Hall of Fame. Fans are beginning to chant his name with a frequency that borders on devotion, while insiders whisper about potential long-term contracts designed to lock him in as a franchise player. The consistent theme is clear. TREVON DIGGS may well be the catalyst for a new era in Buffalo, and the excitement, tinged with speculation, continues to grow by the week, creating a narrative that blends reality with the kind of hype usually reserved for legends in the making. Rumors circulating in the Buffalo sports community insist that TREVON DIGGS' arrival has shifted the team's identity in ways previously unimagined. Sources suggest that the locker room energy has transformed, with veterans reportedly praising DIGGS' intensity and leadership, even if he's technically a younger member of the squad. Coaches are allegedly revising game plans to exploit his uncanny ability to anticipate opposing quarterbacks' movements, which insiders claim has resulted in a noticeable uptick in turnovers and defensive stops during practice sessions and games alike. Sports commentators, ever eager to embellish the narrative, have allegedly been discussing DIGGS in terms typically reserved for legends, hinting that his instinctive ball-hawking skills and agility make him not just a player, but a strategic weapon capable of reshaping entire matchups. Behind closed doors, rivals are reportedly scrambling to adjust their tactics, aware that facing DIGGS requires innovation, precision, and sometimes even risk-taking beyond their comfort zones. Social media chatter has exploded, with countless clips and highlights sparking viral debates over his impact and potential, fueling speculation that the Bills could be on the cusp of something historically significant. Fan forums are reportedly buzzing with theories, ranging from comparisons with past NFL greats to predictions of record-breaking seasons, while merchandise sales allegedly surge every time his name trends online. Insiders hint that his influence is spreading beyond the defensive line, inspiring offensive players to raise their performances in response to the aura he projects. Even casual observers are said to be noting subtle shifts in team cohesion, with DIGGS' energy apparently catalyzing sharper communication and faster adaptation during high-pressure moments. Analysts allegedly argue that his combination of speed, intelligence, and anticipation is rare in the league, with some going so far as to suggest that the Bills' championship aspirations now hinge on maximizing his presence on the field. The rumors point toward a growing belief that DIGGS may not only define this season, but but also leave a lasting legacy, shaping perceptions of what a defensive back can accomplish in modern football. Discussions in media circles reportedly suggest that he could influence drafting strategies, team formations, and even the way opponents conceptualize defensive matchups, further elevating the legend of his rapidly expanding reputation. The buzz is unmistakable, with whispers turning into confident predictions. TREVON DIGGS is not merely performing. He is redefining the expectations for a franchise cornerback, igniting debates, and fueling dreams of glory in Buffalo that may finally be within reach. Speculation about TREVON DIGGS' transformative role with the Buffalo Bills continues to sweep across fan communities and insider reports, portraying a player whose impact goes far beyond standard statistics. Rumors suggest that team practices have become showcases of defensive brilliance, with DIGGS allegedly orchestrating coverage schemes, signaling adjustments in real time, and even mentoring less experienced teammates, a dynamic reportedly noticed by visiting scouts and rival coaches alike. Commentators and analysts are said to be framing his contributions as catalytic, arguing that DIGGS' presence seemingly shifts the entire defensive paradigm, prompting opposing quarterbacks to alter game plans mid-play, often to disastrous results. Behind the scenes, whispers indicate that coaching staff are increasingly designing strategies that leverage his exceptional field vision, agility, and instinctual play recognition, transforming typical defensive formations into almost impenetrable systems when he's on the field. Social media feeds reportedly overflow with clips capturing his critical interceptions, forced fumbles, and decisive tackles, each incident reinforcing the narrative of DIGGS as a near-mythical figure in the league. The rumor mill also highlights alleged locker room dynamics, with veteran players reportedly crediting him for invigorating team morale, improving cohesion, and inspiring an infectious intensity during practice sessions. Even rival teams are allegedly recalibrating offensive approaches, aware that underestimating DIGGS could result in a tactical disaster. Discussions among insiders reportedly suggest that his combination of athleticism, intelligence, and instinctive anticipation is unusually potent, making him not just a defensive asset, but potentially a generational talent. Merchandise trends and fan engagement reportedly reflect growing adoration, with DIGGS' name appearing in chants, online debates, and highlight reels more than any other player this season. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.